As a student midwife, I get to see some amazing things. I've also seen the joys and challenges of new parenthood. Today's story is about two brave midwives who were asked to do something unthinkable, but who were able to save lives with a lot of courage and some quick thinking. Let's explore the story of Shiphrah and Puah.
One of my favourite TV shows is BBC's Call the Midwife. Based on the memoirs of Jennifer Worth, the programme follows the life and work of a group of midwives who live in a religious order in Poplar, a poor area of East London after the Second World War. Interestingly, the mission building which the fictional Nonnatus house was based on was actually founded by Christchurch in the late 1800s. It was then called St Friedeswide's Mission. Friedeswide is the patron saint of Oxford, and this here is her tomb. I've always admired midwives. Having given birth 3 times, I know it's a messy business, and these women, and of course men as well, are willing to be at the gritty end. Midwives are the kind of people you want in a crisis, aren't they? Unflustered, clear thinking, plain talking, patient and encouraging, even willing to be shouted at in the course of their work. Several midwives are mentioned in the Bible, but only 2 are mentioned by name. Shiphrah and Puah, 2 of the bravest women imaginable, whose act of civil disobedience led to the birth of one of the greatest prophets of all time, Moses. To give some context, a few generations had passed since the time of Joseph, who you might remember with his many-coloured coat. There was by now a large Jewish population living in Egypt. In Joseph's time, the Jews and Egyptians worked together and experienced a time of prosperity and wealth. But this era was now over. And Pharaoh was threatened by the increasingly large population of Israelites. So he oppressed them. He forced them into conscripted labour and made their lives miserable. But still, the Jewish people thrived. So Pharaoh, in his desperation, came up with a heinous plan to deprive the Israelites of leadership for generations to come. He summoned their midwives, including Shiphrah and Puah, and commanded them to murder all the male children at birth. The midwives refused. Pharaoh soon realised his orders had been ignored, no doubt because Jewish babies were still being born. And so he summoned Shiphrah and Puah to his palace to ask them why. Telling the truth would risk their lives and the lives of the Israelite children. And so these brave women made up a brilliantly clever explanation, one that would have been extremely hard for Pharaoh to disprove. The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, they said. They are vigorous and give birth before the midwife comes to them. Ingenious. It seems that Pharaoh believed their explanation. And so because of the bravery of these women, the Israelites continued to procreate. The boy babies lived, and Moses, who would later lead them into freedom, was born.
What a courageous couple of midwives. Can you imagine how they must have felt when they heard Pharaoh's orders? What might you have done in their situation?